Hey guys, what's going on? This is Bribe, and today I wanted to talk about a really broad topic, and I'm probably going to do this in one take because I'm sick of doing this, and I'm probably going to make a series of videos regarding this, and that's how to be a better gamer, how to get better at games. I've been noticing a lot lately that game companies are kind of releasing games that are user-friendly, good for everybody, easy to get into, easy to feel good at, and then players don't really decide to take it the next step further to get better. They have no interest in it because, instant gratification of being good at a game means that you probably won't try to get better. Well, like, where can I improve? Why am I, and what I see a lot of, especially in games like League of Legends and MMOs such as World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, and League of Legends, Han, and Dota, is that players will make the same mistakes over and over and over again and not correct them. Or never understand, never really figure out the difference between if they made the mistake or if they didn't make the mistake. And I see this a lot. I see this actually every day, multiple times per day. And no matter how many times you attempt to assist them with it, they still make the same mistakes because in their mind they're justified in doing it. And that can kind of get old. But you see, I'm here to try to help you overcome some of these things that you might be doing and that I might be doing. And actually, just in talking about this, sometimes it's just a different way of thinking, which forces you to look at some of the performance that you do and then reevaluate and change how you might react in certain situations. And that right there, what I just mentioned, is a huge part of just getting better in games in general. It's analyzing performance, trying to think differently, looking outside the box from a non-biased view, from a non-personal view, and just trying to get better at games by evaluating your performance. Now, you might do that by recording your games and reviewing them to see, oh, if I did this, I would have done better, or blah, 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 which you can actually do. Let's say if you play StarCraft, excuse me, if you play StarCraft, there's a replay function. What I do normally is, as I'm recording this right now, I'm actually using XSplit. So using XSplit, I can record my games and review them, and obviously, if I'm not going to use it for, let's say, a montage or something like that, I can just remove the clip and then forget about it. But I highly recommend just evaluating your performance or asking other people their input on your performance, and that's a great way, just outside influence on maybe a different way of thinking, or maybe just a different way to assess things in general. So that's one thing. Another thing is the psychology in general of playing games. The majority of games right now, whether it's Guild Wars or World of Warcraft, League of Legends, all those games, all those big popular games right now, again, excuse me, it's understanding the psychology of it, as I mentioned. So knowing that, let's just give League of Legends as an example. The average person, like the average age of a person who plays League of Legends, is anywhere between 14 to 28 years old. That's the average. I'm not saying there's not people older than that who play or younger than that who play, but that's just, that bracket is the average. So knowing that, what kind of psychological changes are people going through at that stage in life? When you're young, in your teens, and you're getting older, you're learning things for the first time, and since maybe nobody's mentioned those things to you, obviously that's why you're learning them for the first time, or experiencing them for the first time. You may feel that you know these things that other people don't, and that may not be the case. So people are naturally overconfident in certain areas. And just let's take that a step further. Some people might develop an ego from that, and these people can be somewhat hard to deal with. I understand that. I've made those mistakes in the past, and I'm sure you guys, if you look back, have made that mistake in the past. But that's okay. That's just part. That's psychological growth. Sorry, this turned from like a thing about gaming into oh, psychology. But psychology is a huge factor in games, and just getting better at them. You have to understand yourself, most importantly, and try to understand the people who you are playing with as well. So, you can make as many assumptions about somebody as you want, but you'll never have the full story. But the main thing is getting people to communicate, especially in games like League of Legends. Whenever I go into a ranked game, I always try to chat with my teammates, just to get a sense of where they're at. You know, sometimes if they're overconfident and maybe too overconfident and pick a bad lane matchup, I'll just leave Q because I don't want to deal with somebody who's so overconfident and, or maybe only plays a few champions to lose a game. I'm not a big fan of losing. I hate losing, actually. I'll put it that way. And it just, when I see people make bad plays that, you know, I'm looking at it like I probably myself would never make that play. I would never, you know, do certain things and then lose the game for my team. You know, it's just, sometimes it just infuriates me, and I'll stop talking about it because I'm going to start ranting. So, moving on from that, you know, use the mechanics that the game developers gave you to your advantage. You know, sometimes you might think when you play a game you're limited by the game, but how about the game is, or you are limited in the game. How about taking it, I have no idea how to put it. Let's take it to the next level. How about maximizing on the potential of what the developers gave you and then using that to your advantage? There are many ways, especially in games like World of Warcraft and in Guild Wars, there's many ways to maximize your overall performance in game based off of the things they gave you. For example, I know the vast majority, the numbers might shock you, the people who don't use key bindings in World of Warcraft is almost 80% of the population. 80% of, what is it, like 8 million to 9 million players don't use key bindings. And if you don't use key bindings, I'm telling you, if you want to get better at the game, you have to use key bindings, period. No, there's no middle ground. You have to use key bindings. End of story. Clicking your abilities and using your keyboard to turn your character and you know, manipulate your camera is not fast enough. It's more or less just it's gimping yourself and your ability to in your maneuverability. And in order to gain max control of the game, you have to be in max control of what the developers give you to play with. So in League of Legends, you have to remove that what do you call it? That screen lock on your character. You have to be zoomed all the way out to see the max potential, and you have to use, especially in League of Legends, sorry I switched from World of Warcraft to MMOs in general to League of Legends, you have to use your minimap. Your minimap is like your eyes, it's your second set of eyes. It allows you to see what's going on all over the map. Now, when playing games like MMOs and League of Legends, it's fairly common for most players, a lot of like average players, to get tunnel vision. And what tunnel vision is basically, I'm gonna put this up here, and what are you looking at right now? You're looking inside my hands, at my face. Hey, what's going on? And you're locked to that. You know, the idea is, in order to maximize on your potential in the game, is to use your whole screen. You know, instead of looking at that small area and only being aware of that, let's take it a step further. Try to view a little bit larger of an area. And then from there, once you get comfortable with that, view a little bit larger of an area, and then even larger, and be aware of what's going on everywhere. You know, in League of Legends, you have your health bars on one side, you know, of your whole team, and you have the mini map in the bottom. You have your, you know, what the time is in the top left or the top right, and it also has your CS up there too, your minion score, how much you've slain, and just things like that. So the more information you have during a game, like whether it's a World of Warcraft BG or a SPVP match in Guild Wars, or a random battleground in World of Warcraft, it doesn't really matter. The more information you have, the better off you will do, and it's all about getting that information. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, I want to jump back to psychology because I just thought of something. When you're playing games, try not to talk down to people as if you know more than them. Going back to what I said, you know, people with egos. If you talk down to people, that means that, let's say you're trying to climb the ladder to be the best, you know, let's say, you know, all the way at the top, you know, you're climbing the ladder. If you're looking down the ladder at somebody, you're not looking up to see what you could do, and you're not obtaining any additional information on what will help you climb that ladder. You are actually slowing your pace down of climbing because you're not looking where you're going, And two, the people, every moment you spend looking down, the people beneath you are still moving up. So whether, let's say you're at 1400 ELO in League of Legends, if you're constantly looking down at people and hating on people and saying, you know, you should be doing what I'm doing, there's other people who are actually getting better than you at your bracket, which in turn makes you worse. So there's no benefit to looking down at people and telling people that they're bad. What you should do is, if in any situation that you can, whether it's free time or whatever, you know, during games, during battlegrounds, you know, in your guild, you're talking to your guild in chat or whatever, you know, downtime between games, or you know, in between arena games, or whatever you're doing, chat with your teammates, chat with your guild mates, whatever, and try to share the information you have. Because if you have a lot of information, you feel like you have a lot of information, chances are everybody else does too. And really, playing games is all about being in the know, using the utilities, like maximizing on what you can do. In your fingers, you have 5 fingers on both hands, right? Like, I've got a Razor Naga, which means that I'm not only using these fingers up here, I'm also using my thumb for these abilities right here. And like, you have a full fucking other hand, so you have an entire keyboard at your disposal for key bindings on that as well. And not utilizing that is severely limiting your potential in games, especially MMOs. I remember when I was playing World of Warcraft, I had like 50 or 60 key bindings. Like, you know, I won't get into the semantics of it. I'll do that maybe advanced some other time. But yeah, like, there's just so many things you can do in order to get better, and it's all about memorization and gathering information. Those are the 2 main things on becoming a better gamer. So that's the first video, guys. I'm fucking tired of talking. Take it easy. I'll see you soon.